Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. All praise be to Allah alone. We all praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, none can show him guidance. I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah alone, and I bear witness that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is his last messenger. Dear viewers everywhere, welcome once again to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda. A quick reminder with our phone numbers, beginning with the area code 00202 01125 008679, and the alternative number is area code 002 020 10024 583, and the Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. We don't have Allah, yet we have a long list of questions that I received on my page. We've been trying to answer them through pre-recorded episodes. They should be uploaded inshallah tonight. And some of these questions as follow. Sister or brother Kami Chaudhry, he says, if someone gives triple talaq to his wife, but he has no intention of doing so, what is the ruling on that? Given talaq, the utterance of divorce consists of two categories. One which is known as explicit or sarih. If somebody uses the word talaq or its derivatives, like if you hear this word in any context, you would assume that the person is pronouncing divorce. If somebody says to his wife, you are divorced, or I divorced you, or you're not my wife anymore. Well, words and statements which are very clear in stating that the wife has been divorced and establishing the fact that we're separated, then that's called divorce. And guess what? Whenever the husband utilizes an explicit term indicating divorce, whether he intends it or not, divorce falls effective. Because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ counted among the things which if the person uttered it, even joking, it falls effective divorce. So if the person was joking with his wife and said to her, you're divorced, she is divorced. If they were acting in a play, as we see that a couple were playing a role in a movie, in a play, and it requires him to say to her that you are divorced. She's divorced. I didn't mean it. I was acting, but you used the word sarih al-talaq. There are other terms which are ambiguous. Could mean divorce, could mean otherwise. In this case, we will ask the person who uttered that statement, what was your intention? When somebody says to his wife, go to your family, what does it mean? He could mean by that, I divorced you, go to your family. So his intention will determine the effectiveness of his statement. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abdul Karim from Oman. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Sheikh, how are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Sheikh, I have a question. I have a business. I'm dealing with the banks, and I have interest money from the bank. Is this haram? And would you explain it how it's haram for me?
Okay, first question.
I don't have any other way to get the money for my business.
Sure. Brother Abdul Karim, first question is, do you guys have Islamic banks in the country which you reside in?
Yes, we do have.
Okay. So why do you resort to conventional banks while you already have an Islamic bank?
Yeah, but the Islamic bank, Sheikh, they take interest as well.
Well, I guess you didn't understand my question. When I say Islamic bank, I mean a truly Islamic bank. Of course, I do not mean a bank that says Islamic, but it is not. I mean, are you aware of a bank in your locality that has an Islamic business transaction.
Okay. So that is, I mean, fine. I can deal with Islamic banks if it's okay.
I want to make sure that you can hear me, Brother Abdul Karim. My question is, are you aware in your country or the place which you are living in that there is a bank that truly deals Islamically according to the Sharia guidance? The bank has a Sharia committee which decides what is Sharia compliant and what is not. If this is the case, then you don't have an excuse in depositing your money in a conventional bank. Because the prohibition of usury, when you said, I want to know why is it prohibited. Why is it prohibited has been laid down clearly in the Quran. Allah the Almighty says in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين. Allah the Almighty says in the Quran, وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained what is the meaning of usury. And the Muslim Jews summarized in brief, in simple words, the concept of usury. There are different categories of riba, different forms and shapes. The most common is كل قرض جر نفعا فهو ربا. Every loan which is accompanied with interest is usury. Whether you are the person who's giving the loan or borrowing a loan. So if you borrow from the bank, where you sign up an agreement that you will have to pay interest, whatever percentage, that's called usury. That's called riba, and it is the worst sin amongst the practices which are known as major sins in the book of Allah. Because that is the only sin which Allah the Almighty said, if you still insist on dealing with riba, then you should expect the following. Look at the ayah which was on the screen a second ago, which says, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَذَرُوا مَا بَقِيَ مِنَ الرِّبَا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Or you believe, fear Allah. Imagine Allah is warning us, warning the believers, you should fear Him. In which respect? When it comes to business transaction, abandon all sorts of riba, all the remains of riba, if you truly believe in Allah. If you don't, then Allah is declaring a war. Allah and His Messenger are declaring war against those who still deal with riba, even if they are Muslims. Muslim countries, Muslim societies, Muslim individuals, Allah will deprive them from the blessing. And they will be cursed by Allah for dealing with usury. He asked, why? The interest is haram. This is just one ayah in the Quran. There is another ayah in which Allah the Almighty says, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى وَيُرْبِ الصَّدَقَاتِ. Al-mahq is the withdrawal of the blessing. In order to better understand the meaning of the withdrawal of the blessing and al-mahq, why do you really save your money in a conventional bank? Because they give a higher interest. You call it a profit, but it is an interest. It is not a profit. A profit whenever you are a partner in the loss as well as the profit, not just the profit. In this case, it is perfectly halal. That's called murabaha. When you give me your money, or I give you my money, whether individual to an individual forming a partnership, or an individual to a firm or to a bank, to invest your money in a project, and you agree to share the profit and the loss with a certain percentage according to your participation. Your participation was 16% of the entire investment. So your profit will be 16%. Or your loss, if you guys encounter a loss, will be 16%. That's halal, 100% halal. You may also pay a percentage out of that to the person or the persons or the firm which is managing the project. And provided the project itself has to be Sharia compliant. Sheikh, you're making it complicated. I'm not. I'm just saying what Allah the Almighty said. Al-mahq, withdrawal of barakah, withdrawal of blessing. After this call, inshallah, shed some more light on the term mahqul barakah. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Muhammad from the KSA.
I'm just talking from this thing. Can you tell me dua for the health and for anxiety issues and
Sister Muhammad, your voice is breaking off. I can't hear you. It is not only about the kids. Also, the phone call is not clear. Can you say that again?
Can you tell me a dua for the health and for anxiety issues?
A dua for what?
Health and for
Can't hear nothing. I'm sorry, Sister Muhammad. Please try again, or you can leave your question with the control. Sister Fatima from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Fatima. Wa alaikum salam.
I have a question.
Please.
The first, that when having a bath, just children having bath, or elders having bath, I want to know, is there any basic clothing that we wear? Some people say that we need to wear we need to cover a certain area. Some people
Okay.
clothes also we can have a bath.
I got that
So
question.
that is the question I want.
I got that question. Any
Another
other questions?
question is, I have a boy, and he likes to play with teddy bears, soft toys, and parrot, all these soft toys, with weapons. Can we keep that, or the angels won't come to our house when he keeps?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Sister Fatima is asking about, is it a dress code or somebody part that has to be covered while taking a bath? No, you don't. It is not required. If you want to, it's your call. In order to take a shower, there are a hadith that Aisha radiallahu anha narrated that she and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take a bath without any clothes in the same vessel, which we call it today like a bathtub. So it is not required to wear anything while taking a bath. Playing with teddy bears for kids, for minors, yes. Even though some scholars say, subhanallah, the teddy bears and those toys of today, they appear as if they were real creatures. And it was not meant to be this way. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have seen the toys of Aisha radiallahu anha made of pottery and mud that was approved. But now people have become very artistic in creating. Sometimes I see some people pushing people in the stroller like babies, and it is nothing but a toy. This is not a real baby, but it appears as a living human baby. That is not permissible. That is not permissible. So I would like to transmit to you what the scholars said in this regard. If the image is incomplete, like missing an eye, missing a mouth or a nose, so that indicates it is not a complete creature. And this is a statement of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen and others, may Allah have mercy on them. Not to undergo the risk of depriving your house from the angels, because if it is a statue, the angels would not enter such house. It is permitted, and it is a concession for the parents to keep such toys at home for the youngsters, for the babies and infants to play with them. Not until they grow up and you find a grown-up girl, mashallah, she's a teenager and she's lying down in bed next to the teddy bear. That's not permissible, of course. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from the KSA.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My question is, recently my wife died.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah have mercy on her.
Got a chance to bury in Jannat Mala. While we took the dead body to the Jannat Mala, some other family also bring their small child. He's about 3 years old.
No.
They approached me and asked me that they want to bury their child with my wife, I did not have so much knowledge. But one thing I have knowledge that to a small child are sinless or like that. So I allow them. And when I'm putting my wife's body in the there in the ground, and after that they given their boy also, and I have by chance, because I have not experienced this type of thing, I put it on the left side because my wife is on the right side of that one. But they say that no, make it attached to each other, and I have done it. Now my question is there, because I have given them permission and it is proceed and burial is complete. Whether I have done the right thing or wrong. If I have done the wrong thing, what shall I do now
Okay.
for religion?
Brother Muhammad, may Allah have mercy on your late wife. I ask Allah the Great to have mercy on her and to make her grave a garden of heaven. Allahumma ameen. I'm not sure if you're able to hear me, but once again, I would like to extend my condolence and the condolence of the whole team here to you and to your family. May Allah have mercy on your wife and make her grave a garden of paradise. Ameen. Burying more than one person in the same grave is permitted whenever we don't have a room. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did bury more than one companion in the same grave. If you remember, during the battle of Uhud, okay. As far as on the right or the left, I do not have any reference that it would really make any difference. And since it's a child, it's a baby, it is okay. So, Jazakallahu khairan for allowing the child to be buried. Maybe they couldn't afford a grave. Allah knows best. But I would like to add to that, some people assume that would change the fate of the person. Of course, I hope and I pray that your wife, inshallah, would be in the best place. But this is a general remark for every person to understand that Allah the Almighty says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. What would really benefit any person is his or her own earning. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. No bearer of a sin shall bear the sin of another. Jazakallah khairan, and please accept our condolence. Brother Abdul Karim from Oman, who called earlier, I will be back with you inshallah, but I still have to take some calls. Assalamu alaikum. Suhail from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Yeah, thank you. Sheikh, I have one doubt. Actually, I am a practicing Muslim and I believe in Islam completely and everything in Islam says. But recently I was thinking about non-Muslims and something is disturbing me immensely. So what I wanted to ask is, then I suddenly went into Wikipedia and I checked. So according to Wikipedia, in 2010, 23.4% of the people in the world, that is 1.6 billion people, were Muslims, out of the 7 billion people in the world. So my doubt was, Islam, as we all know, is a true religion. It is the truth. It is the word of God, and Allah is only. Is it right that only 23.4% of the world we claim that only we are in the true path? And I feel that many people don't always get the equal opportunity to come into Islam, even though we try our best. I have a friend, and I always keep on telling him to convince him to come into Islam, but at the end of the day, it does not appeal to everybody that we keep on telling that only 4% of people in the world is true. This is not a doubt. I am not diverting from religion or what Allah says. I am a completely practicing Muslim, but this doubt is beating in my heart and I want to know the answer to it. So just that I could reassure myself about Islam and how true it is.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Suhail from Qatar. the long inquiry of Suhail is about a doubt in his mind that when he looked at the statistics, which shows that almost 1/4 of the whole world are Muslims, 24 point whatever, 1.6 billion Muslims. So he said, what's going to happen to the rest of the world? Are they all, is it possible that the vast majority of people are all wrong and they will not enter heaven? If this is causing you to be in doubt, let me add to that, and not all the 24% will enter heaven. You know, the Prophet ﷺ said this ummah will be also divided into 73 sects. All of whom are astray in a sense that they will not enter heaven. And only one party will be saved. So do not think the 1.6 billion Muslims are all true Muslims. No, there are a lot of people who have in their name ID, national ID, driver's license or whatever, Muslim. But they are either Ismailis or Alawis or this or that, and they have corrupt faith. They do not believe in the main theme of Islam. They're Muslims by name. Well, you're going to say, you're making it worse. No, I just wanted to clarify to you something, then I would answer the question properly. So do not think that all the 1.6 billion Muslims by name are actually Muslims. Okay? So what it means? Look at the Quran, Brother Suhail, describing the believers. Number one, Allah the Almighty says, وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. 2. وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. There are many ayat in this regard, which means that most of mankind are not grateful to Allah. They do not believe in Allah. وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. And very few of my servants will be grateful. What does it mean? It means, as explained by the hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ said, on the Day of Judgment, a prophet will come with a handful of followers, and another will come with a couple followers, and a third would come with only one follower, one believer, a prophet whom Allah sent to his nation, and out of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, Allah knows how many, only one person, one single human being believed in him and followed him. What happened to the rest? In hell. Not only that, وَيَأْتِ النَّبِيُّ وَلَيْسَ مَعَهُ أَحَدٌ. And a prophet will come on the Day of Judgment with no followers whatsoever. Nuh alayhi salam, فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا 50 عَامًا. This is what the Quran said. إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ أَنْ أَنذِرْ قَوْمَكَ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. That is the first ayah of Surah Nuh. Then another ayah explains that Nuh had been sent by Allah as a prophet, and he continuously preached his people for 950 years. Yet, all his followers, after 950 years, fit in a ship. And when Allah drowned the universe, the whole world, those who drowned were doomed to hell, including his son and wife. Does it mean that because Nuh alayhi salam and his followers were the minority, that there is a least doubt that they could have been wrong? It is not by the majority. As a matter of fact, because Umar ibn Khattab heard somebody who's making dua around the Kaaba saying, "Oh Allah, make me of the few. Make me of the few." He said, "What do you mean, make me of the few?" He said, every time in the Quran the few is mentioned, they're praiseworthy. وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ ثُلَّةٌ مِّنَ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنَ الْآخِرِينَ. So the few, the minority are being praised for their belief. It has nothing to do with the majority. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, 13 years in Mecca, his followers did not exceed 100. Does it mean that because the vast majority do not believe, they may be right? Or You will feel pity for them. We feel pity for every human being who's astray. This is what Allah said. And also Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was eating his heart. Couple times in the Quran, Allah told him to slow down. فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَّمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. You're going to kill yourself because they don't believe in this Quran. You feel sorry for them. So this is as far as numbers, majority and minority. Not only that, I know that there are callers waiting, but this is very important and this is very serious. If a Muslim had the least doubt, if a Muslim believes that other than Muslims could be saved and enter paradise as well, then he's in doubt in his religion. And if anyone has a doubt in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, then he is not a believer. When the Prophet ﷺ said, saying this word will save you from hell and will make you eligible to receive salvation and enter paradise, he said, مُخْلِصًا بِهَا قَلْبُهُ. Sincerely from your heart. You really mean it. You really understand that you either believe in Allah, you be saved, or you don't believe in Allah, and then al-kufru kulluhu millatun wahida. This is as far as the text. Now I showed you just a fragment, a few references, but I have tens of references. For the sake of time, I won't be able to discuss them. Maybe I can post a whole article on my page, inshallah, in this regard later on. Second, logically speaking, you forgot one thing. You need to ask yourself this question. Young men and young women, ask yourself the following question. What is the greatest as far as number denomination on earth? Catholic Christians, then Muslims. Okay, so Catholic Christians also about 1/4 of the whole world population. What about Orthodox? What about the Jews? What about Hindus? What about Buddhists? Each denomination, even within the same religion, judge others as non-believers and judge themselves as the only saved party, and heaven is only preserved for them. وَقَالُوا لَن يَدْخُلَ الْجَنَّةَ إِلَّا مَنْ كَانَ هُودًا أَوْ نَصَارًا قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. They said, Ahlul Kitab, none shall enter paradise but the Jews and the Christians. Don't you think that Jews and Christians together agreed to this fact? No. Another ayah explains, وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودُ لَيْسَتِ النَّصَارَى عَلَى شَيْءٍ. The Jews said, whatever Christians are following is null, is not a religion, is fake, is a disbelief. وَقَالَتِ النَّصَارَى لَيْسَتِ الْيَهُودُ عَلَى شَيْءٍ. And the Christians too said, the Jews are not following a religion. So whenever a non-Muslim perceives a Muslim as a non-believer, I don't have a problem with that. Trust me. If a non-Muslim calls me a non-believer, to him I'm a non-believer. I disbelieve in his belief. And I also perceive him as a disbeliever in my faith. There is no hurt feeling. That's why they're called religions. Different faith. Okay? And faith means conviction and belief. So when you believe in Islam, you have to have a full conviction that 100% that is the ultimate truth. Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam. Not only that, complementary to that, the ayah says in Surah Al-Imran, the only accepted true religion with Allah is Islam. Scroll down, you'll find another ayah that says, in order to explain the meaning of Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam, lest you may have the least doubt. The ayah says, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Whosoever adopts, takes, beseeches other than Islam as the religion, simply it will not be accepted from him, and in the hereafter he will be of the losers. And the end of Surah Al-Kahf, we discussed repeatedly in this regard. So you gotta make up your mind. You believe in Allah, then whosoever disbelieves in Allah and disbelieves in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the last messenger is a disbeliever according to our faith. He is a believer in whatever, even if he is a Satan worshipper. He believes in Satan. He believes in an idol. He believes in a human being that he is God. He worships a human being. He is a believer in his faith. But before Allah, he is a disbeliever. You want to call him a non-believer? No hurt feeling. no problem. I hope I was able to lift the fog and defeat this misconception or handle it out in your mind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Muhammad from United Arab Emirates, thank you so much for waiting. Wa alaikum salam. Go ahead, sister. Naam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question.
Naam.
I've been I took in bed over 3 months now, and after because of today, I took business. That's that.
Wallahi, Sister Muhammad, I'm having trouble understanding the question. The voice is not clear at all. It's either that the speakers here in the studio are not good or I'm getting old.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now. Go ahead.
I delivered a baby. Over 3 months now. But before the 3 months, after 30 days, you have to take briefly. That's that. It's just playing to be clear.
No,
Okay?
Sister Muhammad, once again, I truly apologize. The brothers will be more than happy to try to take the question from you in the control, inshallah. Maybe we do have a problem in the speakers here. We'll try to fix them. I'm not sure. It could be that I'm getting old, as I said. Brother Suhail, before we go for a short break, you know, when we went to medical school, not everybody was capable to go to medical school or pharmacy or, you know, I would claim that the elite, those who like excelled, they have higher grades, at least in the Middle East. Similarly, in the West, not everybody wishes to be rich, everybody wishes to be a doctor, an MD, but not everybody can become an MD. And even when we made it to the school, the first year, we were looking at each other and wondering who's going to make it to graduation. And we began like 300 students in the class. We ended up like 50. You know, this is, you know, the natural election, if you want to call it this way. So only those who work hard will be eligible for success. Only those who beseech and search for guidance and find it, because Allah knew that they're sincere in finding guidance, will be rightly guided. They will be the successful ones, and they will be eligible for the reward, which will be, in this case, paradise. May Allah make us from amongst them. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back, inshallah, in a couple of minutes. Please stay tuned.
Imagine that the Anbiya, they were the ones, they were the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they had the hardest times.
He assumed that he had some kind of superiority and he was a better, more chosen, you know, better person because he had this wealth. And then you look at all the other people who had wealth, and some of them were the worst people. You had Fir'aun and
reviving your niyyah time and again, that you're doing insincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Most of the youth, they think, oh, I'm going to pray when I'm old, it's okay now, I'll have fun in my life. Later on I'll work, I'll go on my bed, I'll pray 5 times a day. And all these things, they think that's later on in their life, and they don't know when they will die.
Amira, who's your role model?
Khadija radiallahu anha.
And why?
Because she was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife, and she was the first lady to believe in Islam.
Let's start from where they started. Who are they? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. When they started learning the religion of Islam, they started with the Aqidah, the belief system. faith. Brothers and sisters in Islam, dear viewers, the Prophet ﷺ spent 13 years in Mecca teaching that generation the belief system, the Aqidah. Aisha radiallahu anha confirms this by saying, the first things which were revealed from the Quran was matters of Aqidah. Who is Allah? Jannah, paradise and hell. Jundub ibn Abdullah al-Bajali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, we learned the belief system, we learned the Iman, we learned the Aqidah, then we learned the Quran, Brothers and sisters in Islam, nowadays, a lot of our cultural practices, a lot of our societal norms are against our belief system. And the reason why we're falling into this, because we did not start from where they started. Join me, Kareem Abu Zaid, twice a week on Huda TV screen with the new edition, Aqidah Matters. See
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Brother Abdul Kareem from Oman. I promised to shed some light on the ayah number 276 of Surah Al-Baqarah, second chapter of the Quran, in which Allah the Almighty promises, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ كَفَّارٍ أَثِيمٍ. And I said the word al-mahq means the withdrawal of the blessing. You know the meaning of the withdrawal of the money you make? It would not have any value. It would be void of the blessings. It will be a curse in a state. Subhanallah, the word riba is mentioned in the Quran, usually is mentioned in the Quran in 7 positions in 4 chapters. Al-Baqarah, Al-Imran, Al-Nisa, Al-Ma'idah, all dispraised. It is the most dispraised act, riba, which incurred the worst punishment, not just in the hereafter. In the ayah before, Allah the Almighty speaks about the instant punishment upon rising up on Resurrection Day for those who used to deal with riba. الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا لَا يَقُومُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَقُومُ الَّذِي يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ. Why? ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. They will have this terrible fate on the day of judgment. They will be resurrected like they're being possessed by Satan, like they're having those seizures and fits. Why? Because in the life of this world, they perceived all business transactions the same. Riba based, halal based, they said it's business. Business is business. There is no haram and halal. And Allah the Almighty commented on that by saying, no. وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. The business transaction has halal and haram. Trade and business, it's halal. But riba by itself, or as an ingredient of any transaction, is haram, is forbidden. Is it possible that that could be only back then, 1400 years ago? Whosoever says that command or this prohibition was only valid back then and is not effective now, has disbelieved in the word of Allah. Not just that he has made a big sin, because if somebody is involved in a major sin, that's a sin. If somebody says that the word of Allah is not fit for any time, then he has denounced the word of Allah, he has denied Allah, His ruling, His Sharia, and His judgment. You're taking the risk of abandoning the whole deen because of a statement like that. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says in an explanatory statement to this ayah, الربا وإن كثر فعاقبته إلى قل. The profit which is generated as a result of investing in riba based transaction, even if it appears a lot, the end عاقبة, the end result is to demolish the wealth, is a great loss, not just في الآخرة or in the hereafter, but in this dunya. We've all seen the crash of the market, the stock market, and the mortgage crisis, which made people to demolish their own homes, to demolish and take the floors out and to break the roofs and make holes in their own homes before turning their homes to the bank because of riba. Think about it. This is just one thing that we were able to see by our own eyes. الربا وإن كثر فعاقبته إلى قل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. فاطمة from the KSA. السلام عليكم.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Salam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have two questions, please.
Yes.
My 13-year daughter, she passed away, and the graveyard is just outside our house, on the roadside. Is it permissible if I just stand for a while outside the graveyard with my husband, not crying or weeping, just quietly, after Isha Salah when nobody is on the roadside?
طيب. Okay.
Just gives a good feeling and just for a while, 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
And second question is it permissible to keep the photograph hanging on the wall for a child who is no more? And can you pray in a room where family photographs are hanging?
طيب.
Please answer both the questions.
Thank you, Sister
Thank you.
Fatima. May Allah have mercy on your daughter. Allahumma ameen. And visiting the graveyard in general for men and women is permissible and prescribed. There are some scholars who said originally the permissibility was given only to men, but this is really lacking reference or proof. It's a respected opinion and I respect them, but the effective cause of resuming the permissibility of visiting the graveyard is for both men and women. The Prophet ﷺ said, I had forbidden all of you from visiting the graveyard because of the shirk practices that people used to do at the graveyard, like seeking help from the dead and trying to talk to them, telling them what is going on. It's like complaining to them. So the Prophet ﷺ banned them all from visiting the graveyard for other than the burial. Then afterward, when the Iman and faith was established and everybody recognized who's Allah and not to ask but from Him, the Prophet ﷺ ordered them to resume visiting the graveyard frequently. And he said, since it will remind you of death. So it is very effective with regards to reminding us with the shortness of life and the reality that soon all of us will die. And this benefit is not just limited to men and women, provided that women should avoid any violation that normally women would do, weeping, crying, screaming, talking to the dead like they're complaining to them, and asking from them. And that's why when the Prophet ﷺ passed by a graveyard and he saw a woman was weeping, and beyond weeping she was screaming and making complaints, and Nabi ﷺ said to her, اتق الله واصبري, fear Allah and be patient. She said, إليك عني, leave me alone. You don't know what happened to me. She had lost her son, or most beloved one. And Nabi ﷺ withdrew from her because it was not befitting to continue the advice while she was not receiving any advice. As a matter of fact, she objected to him trying to remind her. Later on, you know the story, when she went, she apologized, and the Nabi ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الصَّبْرُ عِنْدَ الصَّدْمَةِ الْأُولَى. The reference in the hadith is a woman was visiting the grave. And Nabi ﷺ did not forbid her from visiting the grave. He forbade her from doing whatever she was doing, weeping, crying, complaining, objecting to Allah's decree. Visiting the graveyard can also benefit the dead person by making dua to Allah to bless, to have mercy on the dead person, to make his or her grave a garden or paradise. The other good news I wanted to share with you and every person who lost a child, Alhamdulillah, those who die under the age of puberty shall enter paradise. Parents who are being patient for the death of their child. And they say, istarja' inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And they say the dua which we mentioned repeatedly, Allahumma ajurni fi musibati wa akhluf li khayran minha. Allah the Almighty promises them with paradise and with a house in paradise which He named it Bayt al-Hamd, the house of praise. Barakallahu fiki. The following question is Zalaja Arnaut. Zalaja says, why do we pray Dhuhr and Asr silently and other prayers or part of it is silently? This is one of the questions which I don't have an answer to. Allahu A'lam. Allah knows best. And there are similar questions. Why do we pray Asr and Dhuhr and Isha 4 rak'ahs and Maghrib only 3 and Fajr even only 2? Why the Sunnah here is different than there? Why there is Sunnah before Asr but not after Asr? Why there is emphatic and non-emphatic Sunnah? Why Ramadan is in Ramadan, not in January, for instance, so that it will be always cool and mild? These questions not to be asked to al-musharra', the legislator. Why did you make this haram? Why did you make this halal? Why the number of rak'ahs here like that? Why do we have to recite this? And why do we have to make ruku'? Why only we make 1 ruku', but in sujood we make 2? Allah said so. قَالُوا كَذَلِكَ قَالَ رَبُّكَ. This is similar to what the angels said when Zachariah, peace be upon him, and when Ibrahim alayhi salam, peace be upon him, were given the glad tidings that they would have a child after senility. The wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam slapped her face. She said, How am I supposed to have a child? I was sterile and now I'm senile. The answer is, this is what your Lord have said. That's it. So these questions, I don't have an answer to it. We just do as we were commanded. Why? Because even if we know an answer, or some people suggest an answer, it will not be of really a significant benefit. Worship. Why do we fast from Fajr till Maghrib, not till Isha, for instance? Just do as you were commanded and try to reflect in depth on the wisdom behind the ibadah itself. How to communicate with Allah, how to benefit out of your worship, and so on. We ran out of time, brothers and sisters. May Allah bless you all. May Allah forgive us our sins. May Allah grant us paradise. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your